There you go. So you've been working on performance task training with kids. What successes have you had there?
Devin Smith comes to mind. His feedback at the end of class yesterday was, Mr. Armstead, thank you for giving us a how did he put this? A way of allowing us to think through the performance task via little notes.
Awesome.
I guess you would call it thinking points.
So what are some specific things you have done, and what do you think the impact? What has been the impact?
What do you mean?
Like, for example, I know one thing you've done is annotating.
So
Like, what did you do? What was the impact?
So like with yesterday's lesson, a huge impact, and I will have to say for the middle scholars was under how to specifically annotate the data table if given to you. And so the feedback I got from them, or the pushes, if you will, was to determine which column is the X or Y axis, annotate the units, and the last one was, if a data table is given, determine the independent variable, dependent variable. So those are just the small bite size there of just allowing them to see the thinking when it comes to the data table.
Got it.
They transferred that energy much faster when it came time for the graph.
Because you're explicitly stating, like, do this every single time. So what I want to dive into today is stamping the key points of the lesson. This is something that, like, you call on students to do often, but I want to, like, come up with a way to use data to do it a little more strategically. So I have a video for you. This is of more stamping the key points. And while watching the video, I want you to take notes on, like, in what order does she call on the students? And before this, what she has done is she's circulated the room and collected data. So this is like after she's done her loop.
Collected data on what?
For this constructed response question in particular, she's collected data on, like, whose answer is incomplete, incorrect, and all the way right. Because incomplete and incorrect are two different areas where kids struggle in her room. Okay. So in what order is she calling on the kids?
If 90% provide me multiple choice answers, so I'm just going to go right through those. All right, then we'll go right into our constructive responses. For number one, we should have C, D, C, and then C.
That's another thing there, but she went over 4 questions in 20 seconds because she knew 90% already had them right.
Alright, so as we're looking at our constructive response, it says, why do carnivores at the top of the food chain have to eat so much more than the herbivores at the bottom? Jalen, give me a response.
I don't know if you caught that micro moment there, but what did she do right before that? Before she called him Jalen.
Give me a response.
Dan, hold on. I'm
Herbivores
gonna get it.
at the bottom. Jalen, give me a
What's your
response.
paper?
When she looked down, she already knew she was going to
Say a little
cold call.
louder.
Yep.
Carnivores have to eat more because they get less energy. Alright. Bria, can you elaborate, or can you give me a more specific response on that question? Say a little louder, please.
I said carnivores have much more food to eat than the herbivores. The herbivores
herbivores.
at the bottom because 90% of the food is
on what order is she calling in kids?
Like 90% correct on the multiple choice answers, so I'm just gonna go right through those. All right, then we'll go right into our constructive responses. For number one, we should have C, D, C, and then C. All right, so we're looking at our constructive response. It says, why do carnivores at the top of the food chain have to eat so much more than the herbivores at the bottom? Jalen, give me your response. Can you say it a little louder? I can hear good.
Carnivores have to walk because they get less energy. Okay.
All right. Bria, can you elaborate, or can you give me a more specific response on that question? Say it a little louder, Faith.
I said carnivores have much more food to eat than the herbivores.
The herbivores.
At the bottom because 90% of the meat is leftover explanation and 10% is safe food.
All right. Jalen, can you repeat what Bria just said?
He said 90% of the meat
Okay, and how much gets given? Thank you. All right, so describe 2 ways water can...
So in what order did she call in kids?
She called on a weaker response from a scholar, had him share out. Then the next order, she went to a stronger or strongest response, and had her Bria elaborate off of scholar 1, which was Jalen. After that strongest scholar's response, Bria, she went right back to Jalen and had him to repeat Bria's response, and she pushed she stamped the learning by saying thank you and gave a good pause. Yeah,
And
I thought that was
I
effective.
got cut off, but she goes, and now let's write that down.
Oh, okay. I
It's not in the video.
oh.
So
After she said thank you, she said write it down.
yeah, I cut off the video, and she's like, and let's write that down. So she called it a medium kid,
Oh, medium. Okay,
which is not a strong.
that's fine.
Incorrect, but not strong. A high and a low.
Say it one more time.
Medium,
Say it.
high, low.
She didn't call
She-
on 3 kids.
she
called on
did.
2. She called on 3.
She called on
Missed all of that.
a young man, Bria, and then Galen. You want to watch it again?
No.
Okay. She calls it a medium, because usually that's like almost right, but not all the way. A high to elaborate, and a low to stamp it. What's the impact if we call on the high kid first?
The impact if you call the high kid first, if you always do that, you're only talking to those high scholars, and the majority of a class is really is really centered in reference to content knowledge and absorption is around those medium kids. But what you also do is that you don't leave out the low kids as well. And so you have that particular strategy of one, you keep the high kids engaged. That's pretty much big picture, because if you call them, then once you move on, they pretty much checked out, type of thing. So you save them right in the middle of the sandwich, the real meat of everything. And so you call it that medium kid first. Is like you said, they're not all the way right because they're probably missing maybe some key vocab or some strategic phrasing. So you get them in there, and then you have the high key elaborate, right? But then you walk around to a kid like Devin to really see if
Can you put it all
it's
together?
sticky, if the verbiage stuck, or if it was, then you call on them.
Okay. Awesome. So this is a great way to like stamp the key points of the lesson or the most important constructor response. So I have your packet over here, so I gotta go grab it. Gotta grab it. A couple weeks ago when I was in your class and I said include a part in the lesson where students can stamp the learning. Now this is what I meant. Like have a place where you can have like every kid walk away saying. But I told you on the fly. So when you said stamp the learning here, talk me through your thought process.
My process was, what was the meat and potatoes that they need to walk away with?
Mm-hmm. And so you accomplished that in the life work. Where would you do that? And this is the packet that went with it.
So in the particular packet, it looked just like the life work, so it's going to be right here as well. It's the exact same page. The stamp of the learning happens right here.
And all of this is important?
No.
Right, so what would be...
The main two, these guys here.
Awesome. And so this is where I would have a kid stamp it.
Look,
So stamp...
These two rows.
Right, so for me, I wasn't explicit when I say stamp the learning. It means like pick out the like key most important things you do. That's with the AGMO, and like really be strategic about asking some kind of check for understanding where we can do this medium, high, low. Like you want all kids to walk out of this lesson knowing these two things.
3 things. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, yes, ma'am.
3 things about the 2 things. Yeah, same page. So let's look at today's lesson. This do now. What is the most important thing to stamp on the do now?
The most important thing to stamp on the do now is actually number 1.
Okay.
Number 1.
So when you're circulating, you kind of the way it should look on your paper. Can I write on this?
Go for it.
Right on is I keep track of the medium, high, and low. Like for each class, so you have Lane, Webster, and Dayton, right? And I keep track of a medium, a high, and a low. A medium, a high. I'm co-teaching with Jen tomorrow, and this is my role, is to find the medium, high, low kids to stamp. So
doing her lesson or do now or whatever. Okay.
So what was James's average speed for the entire trip? Explain using your understanding of speed. So what would be a medium response to this that necessarily wouldn't be totally complete?
Let's see, what would be a medium response? What is the average speed? That wouldn't be totally right.
Or incomplete. We'll go with incomplete.
So the incomplete would be the response with the correct answer, but the wrong unit.
It says explain your understanding though too. So what if they just said his average speed for the entire trip? What is his average speed for the entire trip?
So you take distance and what is that, distance and time? So distance was 8 and time was 8 seconds as well. So the average speed should be like 1 meter per second.
So what if a kid just says 1 meter per second? Let's agree that's the medium response, right? But they did not explain using their understanding of speed.
They did not explain using their understanding of speed, so...
What would the high kid say?
The high kid would say...
1.
High kid would say 1, they would annotate what the distance is. They would annotate all the variables involved. So the high kid would have given me...
So what would they say though? If if we were calling on 1 meter second because distance was 8 and time was 8.
And distance was 8 seconds, and so speed would be...
Speed equals distance divided by time, something like that.
Yeah.
All right.
Distance would be 8 meters. Time will be 8 seconds. Speed is distance divided by time. So speed will equal 1 meter per second. That should be like around 3 sentences.
Remember back when we were doing performance task remediation with your kids and they kept putting the number from the data table but not explaining? This is going to push on that too. That's why it's so important to call that medium kid first, because you can do this with every single data table, calling the kid with the incorrect answer. So for today, say you can keep this too.
No, Just, no, keep going, just,
I want to practice having you do this. I'll let you write real quick.
oh, okay, go for it.
So let's say you're about to go over it, and you call on who's a medium kid.
A medium kid, from Lane would be,
Let's just call it medium kid actually, because sometimes it's not the same kid. So you call on me, I'm a medium kid, and I say 1 meter per second. Now what do you say?
I would say, hi kid, would you elaborate?
Before you say hi kid,
Go
what do
for
you
it.
say to that kid who said 1 meter per second?
What question are you answering?
Number one.
Answer
What do you
question number one.
how do you address that kid? 1 meter per second.
Okay. I like how you gave me an answer, but the number one asked you to explain. And so that is the part that I'm missing.
Good.
So I'm going to call on Nicole.
Good.
Nicole, elaborate on
Great.
medium kid's answer.
1 meter per second because distance was 8 meters and time was 8 seconds, and speed is distance divided by time. So speed would be 8 divided by 8, which is 1 meter per second.
Okay, so what we need to do now at this particular point is that we need to check for who got the high kid.
Right. So what low
Right.
kid do you call him to stamp it?
We'll say low kid.
Low kid. It's 1 meter per second because we use distance divided by time, and it's 8 meters and 8 seconds, and that is 1 meter per second.
That's pretty darn good.
Yeah, that's what we're pushing for.
That's exactly what we're pushing for.
Medium, high, low, medium, high, low. All right.
Is it doing too much to have them, as when they process, go through and literally annotate the graph itself? Like as they're reading.
No, but that's not necessarily the part you're going over right now.
Okay,
You're just going
I'm
over
just-
this.
Okay, got it.
Yeah,
Got it, got it,
because right now, like that will take too long, and
It
you'll
will.
lose time, and so that's another push that because sometimes you run out of time in your class for good reasons. You're going deep into stuff, but this is a more efficient way to do the review of it. Medium, high, low. All right, now in the lesson. So this is your online tools training day, right?
Yeah.
What is this question? Is it cut off? Using the graph from question number 3 in your knowledge of science, explain why it's important to. And then it says it over here. Explain why it's important to what?
It looks like it's cut off. Okay, I'll do it.
What is the end of it?
It is cut off as well.
Okay. So did you print it yet?
No, no, I haven't.
Using the graph from question number 3 in your knowledge of science, explain why it's important to. What? I don't get it. Where is most of it?
Why is it important to keep water clean?
Because the back of this is just the answers explained, right, most of them?
Yeah.
Why is it important to
Preserve.
I think a cool question would be why is it important to prevent global warming? Because if when the glaciers which are fresh water, melts into the salt water. It's all mixed together, but
Oh, we have to go back and modify that one, yeah.
I mean, that's
Or
kind of
take
what
it
I
out.
would ask, because then you could hit up on like the ice caps are melting.
You say, what is it again, what is it, why is it
I would
important?
ask, using the graphing question number 3 in your knowledge of science, explain why it's important to prevent global warming. Because the answer is because we don't want the freshwater glaciers melting into the salt water. We already don't have enough fresh water.
Okay,
All right.
I'll make that note.
And what is
You literally said prevent global warming, right?
mm-hmm. And then they can tie it into we don't want the freshwater glaciers melting into the salt water. It contaminates it. It goes along with the clean water. What's happening on this page?
So, onto this page, this was my way of trying to put together a mountain climber.
Honestly, here's what I would do today.
Okay,
I would do this, and I would do online tools training,
okay,
just so you make sure they get it done. And then for people who finish, then have them do the mountain climbers where they finish early.
yes ma'am.
Because
That,
this is way more important, and this could be an early finisher thing.
yes, ma'am.
I think you can still leave it in the same spot, but just jump right into the online thing.
Yes, ma'am. All right. What I really love about the tool when I was doing it, there's strong audio part. So that's
Awesome.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Cool. I'm gonna come in and get some video of you doing this now, doing the
Okay.
medium, high, low.
Okay.
I think I messed up my schedule. I'm looking at the bell schedule here.
Okay.
Let's see. You teach at 10:20, 11:40, 1:40. I'm gonna come in at 10:20. 10:20, 11:40. Yeah, I'm gonna come at 10:20. Thanks, Armstead.
You're welcome. Just for